Hey, my husband loves your content. You got me as a watcher too. Shout out to you and the husband. Shout out to y'all. A family that watches TBH together stays together. So I uploaded a TikTok. Shout out to Rashad. I uploaded a TikTok talking about how I feel like indie developers, they get too much leeway in comparison to AAA games, meaning there's a lack of creativity in a certain segment of the indie game developer community. And a lot of times people be like, oh, you should just buy it because it's indie. And I'm like, no, I'm going to buy it because it's good. Now, if there's a AAA game and an indie game and they're both really fucking good and the one's only $5, yeah, I'm going to support the indie. Like, fuck yeah. That's all the point I was trying to make. Is too many indie games out here where you got to chop wood and survive on the beach. You lost your memory. There's no fucking story. It's a lot of whack ass rappers with their mixtapes that I don't want to fucking hear. It's just the digital gaming version. That's all I was saying. But if the shit's fire, I'm going to support it. Somebody took this and tried to use this against me in reference to my video where I was replying to the dude on TikTok who said gaming is dead. Now, I'm not going to misquote him, so I'm going to read where it is. Oh, here we go. So he said, this comes from Chris. If you acknowledge there's a large amount of trash on both AAA and indie games, why do you still refuse to acknowledge gaming is in fact worse and terrible nowadays compared to pre-2017? And to that, I say it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that that's what you got out of this statement. Me saying that indie games get too much of a pass does not mean that gaming is dead. There are a ton of amazing games to play. And I think the better question is, why is nobody refuting the original point he made in that TikTok, which the gist of his video is, I don't want to keep an open mind. Why do people not want to keep an open mind? But let's go ahead and I'm gonna break it down for those who don't understand. Everybody that's part of the Slow Patrol, hang in there with me. I'm gonna explain it to you. So, what we're talking about is statistics and probability. When let's say I host a cooking contest, right? Slow people, keep up. PS4 niggas. Let's say I host a cooking contest, and the contest is only allowed to have 5 people in it. If only 5 people are allowed in the contest, that means there's most likely not going to be a lot of either good or bad because it's only 5 people. You don't know. Like, the data set is not that big. But if I open that contest up to 1,000 people, that means there's a higher probability that I'm going to run into good cooks and bad cooks because there's 1,000 people. It's the same thing. New video games are releasing every day, whether it's AAA or indie, which means what? There's going to be more good games, but there's also going to be more bad games on both sides of the fence simply because of numbers, guys. It doesn't mean gaming as a whole is dead. It means it actually, what you're bringing up, it actually proves my point. There are 2 main issues when it comes to gaming, guys. The 2 issues is capitalism, microtransactions, if you want to have a conversation about that and all that, like how that's ruined, and then game development being too expensive. That's 100% true. Different conversation. That's issue number 1. That's one of the biggest issues with gaming. 2, I brought up advertising, and maybe because it was 20 minutes into the video and most of y'all's attention span is of a goldfish, you can't get 10 minutes into a 40-minute argument. You might have missed that part of the argument. A big issue in gaming is advertising. Because there's more good and bad across the board, advertising matters more than ever. But the problem is game development has become so expensive. Now there's no budget to advertise these games. So what happens is you got to go through a sea of mayonnaise to find the hot sauce. Follow me, chat. So this is the part where I'm going to say people like to make fun of game journalists, but at least game journalists cover all different types of games. I got to ask, what's going on with the content creator space? Because the corporate side is not doing their part with advertising these great products, but then the content creator space has become a clusterfuck. Outside of my stream and maybe a couple more, how many content creators in the gaming space do you know are actually talking about games that are coming out? Most of these niggas is talking politics. They're doing IRL streams, talking about my ball. The content creator space, and then the ones who do play games, all they do is fucking complain half the goddamn time. So it comes across like there's nothing. Because let me ask y'all a question. How the fuck are so many people saying gaming is dead? And I dropped a video at the top of the year where I showcase 40, I repeat, 40 games that I thought were going to be at least good. Games that I was, and if you don't believe me, I don't remember the name of the video. Where are your favorite creators at uplifting this shit? But I'm trying to see, what did I title it? Most anticipated games of 2025. Black Hokage. I'm hoping I find it. Here we go. 7 months ago, before the year started, my most anticipated games of 2025. Now it's an hour-long video. Let's go all the way to the end. How can niggas claim gaming is dead when I found 40, I repeat 40, of every genre of shit that's coming out? And you know, the crazy thing about this video is I made this video before some games were even announced. Like, we didn't know Donkey Kong Bonanza was coming out. That came out of left field. So how the fuck did I come up with this list and niggas is talking about I don't got nothing to play? When you start asking what's going on with the gaming community, we know what you don't like, but what do you do like? Yeah, I made this video before Ninja Gaiden 4 was announced. I would put that on the list too. Before the Invincible game was announced, although that's 2026. You said same black shirt. I'm an NPC, nigga. I got a closet full of black shirts, bro. What the fuck? Nah, I knew about Claire Expedition. That had been announced. So, going back to the original point, I disagree with you. No, it doesn't prove gaming is dead. It proves my point that there's not enough advertising, and it goes back to because gaming has become so expensive. They're making all these big ass open world games that cost hundreds of millions of dollars. There's not enough in the budget to advertise to you, so you're probably not aware of these games that are there. That's on the corporate side. On the people side, the everyday person side, I feel like the content creator space and the gaming side, niggas don't really be playing games like that. They be yapping about stupid shit that they're unqualified to talk about. The ones, when they do play games, niggas is playing streamer games. Y'all know I don't play that shit. Niggas is playing Unchained. What do you think of Liza P. Overture? How do you say gaming is dead when I got too many games to play? I still gotta play Doom. I gotta play Liza P. Overture. I still ain't beat Expedition 33. We just had South of Midnight. Ghost of Yote's coming out. Wu-Chang coming out, I think, this week. Tony Hawk 3-4. You got Neo coming. Bro, I just named fucking 8 games. Kazaa, I just named 9 games off the top of my fucking head. I had 40 games coming into the year 2025. Mecha Break just came out. Mafia's coming out. I don't know about Skate, but Skate's coming out. We're hoping it's good. That's 10 plus games in the next 2 fucking months. You niggas don't play games. That's the issue. We just named 10 games off the top of my head in different genres, and you're not gonna like everything, and that's okay. But I just gave you a bunch of fucking options, and you still don't have nothing to play? It's time to have a conversation. I don't think y'all play games. I don't think you love games like that. Y'all are fucking frauds. You are casuals. And we know you're frauds because we just showed the data set. The most popular games in the month of June 2025 was Call of Duty, Madden, GTA, all these games coming out. You cannot get off the keyboard crip shit. You cannot get, you niggas is addicted to the T Grizzly server. Of course it seems like there's nothing to play when all you do is sit on the T Grizzly server and trap. Get a fucking job, PS4 niggas. It's just not real. So I'm all over the place. Let me bring it back before I wrap this shit up. The point I'm trying to make, and this has nothing to even do with gaming, it's a numbers thing. If you go out, matter of fact, let me give you dusty niggas another example. Fuck the cooking contest. If you go out and you only talk to one woman, there's a 50% chance you will fail. But if you go out and you talk to 10 women, 3 or 4 of them might respond if your game is good. The more you interact with something, the higher the probability you're gonna run into what you want. Bunch of games are releasing all the time. That means there's gonna be a bunch of bad games, but there's also gonna be a bunch of good games. And it's up to these corporations, this is where they're fucking up. It's up to them to advertise the game to you, but it's also up to you to be in tune with the culture. Now me, I do my part. But that's why I said I'm calling out the content creator space. I don't feel like people doing their part. Went to 60% failure. What you mean odds went worse? But the point is, you're not gonna get it. You gotta keep trying. Building a PC and copping Game Pass was the best thing I did this year. Got to see it through. The law of averages, the law. So that's why. So no, I don't agree with the shit. I got too many. I'm overwhelmed. I got too many games to play. I don't understand how we live in this world where people say there's nothing to play, and I'm on the other end of the spectrum saying I'm overwhelmed. That's my take. Hopefully people understand. There's more options than ever. Maybe change up your algorithm. Obviously you watch me, but find some other people to watch that play a lot of different games. Look up different like game reviews and stuff like that, and find people who are really in tune with gaming culture and really enjoy. Although it is going to be harder to find, because I remember I was talking about it the other day. Like, I feel like the GI podcast, like Siggy, there you go. The GI podcast is in a very unique space. There's really not a lot of podcasts like that that really talk about the industry shit going on. It's just too much. It's just too much content. And then if you think about it, it's not just games too. You also got Hulu, Netflix, Spotify, Apple Music, the movie theater. It's just so much content. It's people got to do a better job of advertising shit. Do you know of any games like Dead by Daylight? You talking about like them like one person plays like a monster, and nah, that's pretty unique. Dragon Ball came out with one last year. People who played it seemed to like it, but it wasn't that popular. What was it called? Dragon Ball Breaker, I think. Would Kind of Funny fit into that category? Yeah, but I look at them more as like on the industry. They're more on the industry side because they started like as journalists. But yeah, you could throw them in there. Evolve sucked. Nah, just Xbox Game Pass, but Ubisoft and EA have Game Pass. You got the Game Pass. There's a million different games on the goddamn Game Pass. Yeah, y'all got to look into more variety creators, man. And you also got to ask some of your favorite content creators why they're playing Chained Up and all this other goofy ass shit, but they're not playing any other cool games. Because if you're only watching certain content creators and they're only playing those games, it seems like there's nothing to play, but I'd argue it's too much to play. That's true. Greg Miller was on IGN. Yeah, like Kind of Funny is super tapped in. Like they have those industry connects that I don't have. So like to me, they're more like on the industry side. But that's my take. Hopefully people understand the laws of averages. And if you haven't, I'm gonna drop this video in the chat. I'm gonna drop a link in the chat if you haven't seen this video. There's a bunch of games coming out this year. Check out some of them, please. Just check out the PlayStation in August. It's stacked with the fuck. It's a lot of games to play right now. You can't find one? I don't know, man. I don't know. Niggas playing Peak right now. It feels like every other Climate streamer game. Yeah, like I don't get it, man. What happened to the culture? And you know, I'm a solutions guy. I'm not gonna just sit here and rag on people because y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. I have a solution for you. For the people who feel like there's nothing to play and maybe you're on a budget, one of the best games of the year is on sale for $35. Split Fiction. And the best part is, when you buy this game, you get 2 copies. Your friend can play with you for free. It's a co-op experience. I think it'll be nominated for Game of the Year. It's $35 on Amazon. Here's one for you. I don't want to hear it. You said, yep. No fucking excuses. Keep talking that real shit. Peak is fun, but it's made by Aggro Crab, the same people that made Another's Crab Treasure. Yo, shout out to Dom with the raid. Shout out to Big Dom. I appreciate you. So much to play. I have to take a break after. Wu Chang. Mind's Eye. Fuck Mind's Eye. But Mind's Eye is a great example, though, of what I'm talking about, right? Like I said, I have 40 games coming into this year that I was excited about. And one of the games that's talked about it the most is Mind's Eye. Why? Because people love to focus on negativity. And that's fine. I like to dunk on shit too. But I also talk about what I like. And that's why I say, y'all got to start asking some of these people, okay, we get what you don't like. What do you like? Because right now, I don't think anything is beating Expedition 33 for Game of the Year. I beat some bosses last night. I mean, I was already feeling that way, but I was like, I beat some bosses. I was like, yeah, this game is peak. I don't know, man. I don't think anybody. Did you play Expedition 33? It's fucking free on Game Pass. That's another reason I don't feel bad for nobody talking about gaming is dead. Half of some of the best games that came out this year are free on Game Pass. Fucking free. And you still won't try it. Go find a new hobby. I like Devil May Cry. Lost Soul Aside is coming out either at the end of this year or the beginning of 2026. That's like Devil May Cry. You see how I'm able to name this shit off the top of my head? It's because I know what the fuck I'm talking about, bro. All this is doing is pushing the notion that most of the best art is underrepresented. Gamers don't want to play new games until it reaches #1, which is an argument that I've always made. It has nothing to do with gaming. The unfortunate reality, and I don't care whose feelings I hurt, most of you are sheep. You don't enjoy things for yourself. You enjoy things because somebody told you to. And I'm trying to figure out why this person's word holds more weight over this person who actually is a part of the culture. You may not like everything that I say, but you know I'm passionate about this shit. Lost Soul Aside drops in August. Oh, it drops this year? Really? You sure? Lost Souls Aside. Release date. It does. August 29th. Okay. If you're looking for a Devil May Cry kind of game, this is coming out too. That's like 12 games I just talked about in the last fucking 2 months that are coming out. It's too many games. This is a great time to be a gamer. It's not a good time to be a fraud though. It's cool. Keep giving these terrible takes. I'm gonna keep responding to them because I'm not gonna lie, they're some of my best performing videos. Because y'all niggas don't play no fucking games. I'm gonna keep talking about this shit. I'm gonna keep beating a dead horse because a dead horse gives me views. I might pick that up. I've been enjoying that game. I've been watching the game for the last 9 years. It does look fire. This probably will have to go on the back burner for me, but I'm looking out for that. Bro, 2K coming out that day. We got a ball. Oh shit. It's way too many games. Never a good time to be a fraud is never a good time to be a fraud. I'm gonna stay on y'all head, bro. Let's talk other Nintendo news. Other gaming news. Nintendo bans Switch 2 owner after they used Switch 1 games. Eventually it was reversed, but just a warning if you own a Switch 2. A Nintendo Switch 2 user reportedly got his brand new console banned by Nintendo after buying used Switch 1 games and patching them on his console, which further reinforces the point that I was just making in the previous argument. The biggest issue in gaming in 2025 and going forward is what? Say it with me. Capitalism and greed.
Loyal to you.
According to Reddit user D Mathy, they purchased 4 used titles off the Facebook Marketplace, inserted them into his Switch 2, and had them all updated. When they turned on the handheld the following day, they received a message saying they were restricted from Nintendo's online services and they couldn't even download the game they had already bought. Fortunately for D Mathy, Nintendo had a quick resolution for them. Once they discovered the issue, they went to the Nintendo support website and they were immediately able to talk to a human. It was there that the company confirmed their console was indeed banned because of the use of pirated games. Nevertheless, they were able to prove their innocence by pulling up the Facebook Marketplace listing for their games and sending photos for their purchases cartridges. Now, shout out to Nintendo for resolving the issue, but I'd also argue this shouldn't have been an issue in the first fucking place. Why do I have to show you my Facebook account to show you that I purchased these games fucking legally? They're secondhand games. Nintendo, get off my dick. I'd argue he got lucky. And let me explain to you why. There's not as many Nintendo Switch 2 owners right now because it's still a new console. What happens 5 years from now if there are 10 million plus Switch 2 owners and they buy a secondhand game and the fucking support is getting hit by a bunch of different calls? Now you got to wait in line for 6 hours to play the game that you bought from your homeboy. This is why I argue capitalism is overstepping its boundaries. It's not that fucking deep.
We'll go towards a new pair of running shoes. I'll need those to get away from my stalker. Her name is Amy, and she's an annoying quasi.
Shout out to this nigga is funny, bro. Shout out to the Minish Cap Mafia Goon with the $5 super chat. The Minish Cap Mafia Goon got some in chat lore. At work trying to pay off my Nintendo debt, and I thought Mafia would go one stream without being brought up. Hope everything is good. I think I have some Mafia gameplay to show later. I appreciate the super chat though. Nevertheless, they were able to prove their innocence by pulling up the Facebook Marketplace, listing their games, and sending photos of their purchased cartridges. According to the Redditor, the process was painless and fast, and it was so much easier than getting support from Microsoft or Sony. You wouldn't even have been in this fucking situation with Microsoft or Sony. This is where I say you, the consumer, are a problem. Just say thanks for fixing my problem, Nintendo, but you don't gotta get on your knees and to fucking Nintendo. This nigga put it, after he got fucked by Nintendo, he put his Luigi hat on, tied a GameCube controller around his fucking cock and said, thank you, Nintendo. No, you should have never been in this situation in the first place. This would have never happened if it was Microsoft. It would have been way faster than Microsoft or Sony. You wouldn't have been in this situation if it was Microsoft or Sony. What are you talking about, dude? By showing these things, you can prove to Nintendo that you purchased the games in good faith and that you were duped. Other users be warned. Yeah, he's just glazing for no reason. So the reason I bring this article up is if you're looking into getting a Switch 2, just be aware. Yo, shout out to Real Lemire with the sub. Just be aware. He's a good boy. Just be aware if you buy a Switch 2 and you want to buy games secondhand off the Facebook Marketplace at yard sales from your homeboys or homegirls, just know it might cause an issue where it bricks your Switch 2. Then you got to call Nintendo and hope there's not a 2-hour wait to fucking fix your shit. I think this is OD. For him to sit there and glaze Nintendo is stupid because it should have never happened in the first place. And I'm going to go ahead and argue it's probably going to get worse. A little counterintuitive, I feel. If you brick the console, there's no more game console sales from that consumer. Right, what if they bricked everybody's consoles, right? This man was just trying to save some money. Get the fuck out of here, man. Other bad Nintendo news. FBI shares official statement after the seizure of major Switch ROM site.
A known form of glazing. That means for every donation TBH gets, I get the chance to glaze. I mean, gaze into Sonic's dreamy green eyes. Shout
out to Rom Green with the $5 super chat. He said my girl wanted the Switch too bad. Then I told her about all the stuff going on with the console. She was like, oh, hell nah, never mind. Yeah, I would recommend waiting a little bit. That's what I'm doing. You can still get it, but I would wait a little bit. But yeah, FBI shares official statement after the seizure of major ROM site. Earlier this week, a major ROM site known as NSW2U was seized by the FBI as part of a law enforcement operation. Now we've got an official statement from the FBI highlighting the other sites that were seized. Here's the statement. The FBI's Atlanta office announced today the seizure of several online criminal marketplaces providing pirated versions of popular video games. In addition to the seizure, the FBI has dismantled the infrastructure of these. Dismantled as if these niggas was out here like terrorists and shit. Let the fuck up, bro. For more than 4 years, the websites contained pirated copies of highly anticipated video games days or weeks before their official release date. Between February 28th, 2025 and May 8th, 2025, records indicate a total of 3.2 million downloads occurred on the site from the most used download servers. Blah, 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 blah. Let me tell y'all something, chat. Shout out to the Minish Cat Mafia going with the $2 super chat. We're so powerful, even the FBI is on our side. On our side? Shit. Oh, you're calling yourself... This nigga's in character, bro. You're the Minish Cat Mafia. That's funny. All right, so let me tell you this. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's this whole thing going on with the Jeffrey Epstein list. For those unaware, he did taxes for like a lot of famous people and politicians, and he kept this list. He had his own private island. I was never suicidal, by the way, but he did taxes for a lot of famous people and politicians, and he had a private island where he would fly people out, and they were doing pedo shit, and they were sex trafficking people. For those that don't follow the news, this is a big story. He kept a black book, a list of different important people on there, and it said that Trump's name is on that list, page 80 apparently, but the FBI and the CIA won't officially release that list. But you know what time? You know what? They don't have time to release that list. They actually blocked it. The Republicans blocked it. But you know what they do have time for? To shut down Super Mario Odyssey, the ROM edition. And this is why the world is laughing at us. We don't have time to take down pedo. And by the way, this is the first time, this is a good sign, a little hope core. Even MAGA is starting to turn on this nigga, bro. This is the first time I've seen, because they're mad about this shit. I think this is one thing we all can agree on. And if we can't, you're getting banned. Real quick. There was a pedo ring on a secret island. We are supposed to shut these people down, lock them up, throw them under the fucking jail cell. And this nigga said, oh, it doesn't exist, after he spent the last 5 years talking about he's gonna show the list off. Once niggas found out that he was on the list, now he's like, oh, it doesn't fucking exist. We don't got time to show that list and lock these fucking pedos up, but we got time to shut down the website that's hosting a free copy of Donkey Kong Bonanza. Okay, buddy. So respectfully, the FBI can eat a dick and Nintendo can too. I said what the fuck I said, and I've never been suicidal, by the way. How can they block the release of the files that never existed? I can't stand these people. Yeah, they said they were gonna release it, then they said it didn't exist, and then they blocked it. Well, you just said it didn't exist. How did you block the files you said didn't exist? And I'm just happy. We haven't fully broken the spell yet, but the spell is starting to break. Americans are waking up. We're getting played, guys. We're getting fucking played. This shit is goofy ass news to me. And it goes back to what I said. The biggest issue right now in gaming is capitalism, bro. Remember the lady said it, she had it on her desk. She said she had it on her desk. What was it, Pam Bondi or somebody? She said she had it on her desk. We're going to show it next week. Then the very next week, the list doesn't exist, guys. Yeah, the veil has been lifted. We're getting just a little bit of hope core, man. Oh my God. And I hope everybody stays on their ass, bro. This is something we all agree on. Stay on their ass, lock their ass up, bro. And I don't give a fuck who on that list, whether you on the left, the right, independent, you was doing that shit, you can go under the jail. They realizing they got grifted. Yeah, this nigga promoting fucking altcoins and goofy shit, bro. Have you seen the clip of the comedian Andrew Schultz and Theo Von? They're mad at Trump. Yeah, I seen Andrew Schultz. He was like, I didn't vote for this. I voted so there be no wars. And I was like, yeah, you did. You voted for this. Shut the fuck up, bro. You know what you did. Get out of here, bro. Don't try to come over here because your ass is, they just don't want to be on the wrong side of history. So now they're trying to clean up the mess. That's all it is. You know what you voted for. The fuck out of here. Other news, Nintendo related. Nintendo is already contending with the Switch 2 tech limits. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Switch 2 the Switch 2 has been out for only like a month. And Nintendo has already claimed they're pushed the hardware to its limits. In terms of power, the Switch 2 is a massive, much needed upgrade over Nintendo's previous console, but technically the portable hardware is still less powerful than the Xbox Series X or the PS5, which means that despite being a much newer piece of tech, the Switch 2 is lagging behind the theoretical competition. Most owners may not care about this. The Switch 2 should be strong enough to run most modern third-party games, but based on recent statements made by the people working on the Switch 2's exclusive Donkey Kong Bonanza, it seems that even Nintendo is impacted by the Switch 2 specs. During an interview with Spanish newspaper, I ain't even gonna bother to pronounce, I don't know. Bonanza director, Kazuya? Y'all know I can't pronounce nothing. Dished all things Donkey Kong, like timeline shenanigans and other highlights for the apparent spiritual successor to Super Mario Odyssey. At one point during the interview, a reporter mentioned that they noticed frame drops during certain portions of the gameplay. In response, he acknowledged the technical hiccups, but cautioned that one had to consider various factors at play. First, we're internationally using effects like hit, stop, and slow motion to emphasize the impact, he said, presumably in reference to how the game depicts Donkey Kong's ability to destroy the environment. On the other hand, by using voxel technology, there are moments where the scenery undergoes big changes in destruction. We're aware that in these moments, the performance might be impacted a bit. Translation. We're adding more special effects into the game, which could drop the frame rate. And like the interviewer said, I agree. If you notice in the gameplay, that was the one thing I did. One of the negatives, the game looks fire, but one of the negatives I did notice, the frame rate was dropping a little bit. Why does this matter? I'm gonna go ahead and make a prediction for you guys. If I was him, I personally would have just ducked this question, because by him acknowledging that a launch, I repeat, a launch game, that's a first-party title, by the way. This ain't even third-party title. A launch first-party title on the Switch 2 is struggling to maintain a proper frame rate. That means 5 years, 2-3 years down the road, don't expect any fucking, I'm not gonna say don't expect any third-party support, but don't expect really good third-party ports. It means it's going to be like, we're going to have another Switch 1 situation in our hand. Maybe year 1 and 2, it'll be okay. But as we get into year 3, 4, and 5, and games become more technical and developers really start to harness the power of the PS5 Pro, PC, and the Xbox Series X, because, you know, later in a console's lifespan, that's when the visuals are the best, because they figure out how to really harness the power of it. When we start getting these games that's really taxing shit, don't expect it to. Y'all remember the Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch? You're gonna get a lot of that. You remember Watch Dogs on the Wii U? You're gonna get a lot of that. So basically, what he unofficially confirmed, unbeknownst to him, this is why if I was at Nintendo, I would have told him to shut the fuck up. What he basically confirmed is this is another first-party machine. If you are buying the Switch 2 to get first-party games and third-party, like you want it to be your main gaming machine, you don't want to play on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, you're going to be disappointed. It is what it is. For me, it's not that big of a deal because I play Nintendo game. I buy Nintendo's products for Nintendo games, but it does worry me a little bit with that From Software game. Like, I don't know, man. Why doesn't Nintendo just make a normal console like Sony or Microsoft? They used to. And funny enough, I said it on Sunday when I streamed, like I had like a random epiphany the other day. I was walking Aki and I was like, I kind of missed that era of when Nintendo had a main console and then they had a handheld, like the era of the Wii and the 3DS. or the Game Boy and like the Super Nintendo, just because like they had two different products, which meant that you were getting unique games, and it allowed them to put out more powerful hardware. Because people forget the GameCube was one of the more powerful pieces of hardware during that era. But also what I like about like dedicated handhelds, the problem with the Switch is it fused the two. It's a console and a handheld. What I miss about having dedicated handhelds like the PSP and the 3DS and the Game Boy is when you limit the hardware like that for the form factor, it forces creativity. When you don't have the best graphics, when you don't have all the buttons and shit like that, it forces you to create unique experiences like Loco Roco. So I kind of missed that era. And also there were some really cool games on the 3DS that you just couldn't get on the console. But now that they fused everything, I think what happened is Nintendo just kind of focuses on the AAA games that they have, like Donkey Kong Bonanza. And then the smaller games that are on the Switch, they're not really unique. You're not really getting like a lot of WarioWare type of games. You're just getting like ports of Japanese RPGs, obscure Japanese RPGs that most people probably don't care about. So I kind of missed that era when we had both. That was pretty cool, especially when they incorporate games like Pokemon into the save data. Also with handhelds, it allows the developers to experiment more. Like remember we had Nintendo basketball and shit on the 3DS and shit like that. I want that stuff, bro. I want some cool different shit, bro, that we not getting on the fucking main consoles. I think for their future console, they need to abandon the handheld model and focus on a core home and game console. I agree. For their next one, I hope they don't do Switch 3. I hope they do something more traditional, a traditional console with some real horsepower on that bitch. Facts, I played the Kid Icarus on the 3DS. It was a lot of good games on there. Monster Hunter, I think, was on the DS. Yeah, it was on the PSP too. I remember. Good stuff. Just food for thought. They tried to end the DS with the Wii U, and now all those games didn't sell and just got ported to the Switch. We didn't have Phoenix Wright without handhelds. We wouldn't have Phoenix Wright without handhelds. That's real shit. That's real shit. Facts, creative IPs, and ideas. And also because the scale of handheld games, because the production cost is lower, it allows more people to get into game development, you know, maybe like indie developers and whatnot. The Wii 3, nah, I'm not gonna lie, I hated the Wii. I don't want motion controls. No, thank you. If they do something creative, I would want for them to do something we've never seen before. If they don't, just stick to making more powerful hardware. But I don't want motion controls can be part of the console, but I don't want it to be the selling point. I'm good off that, man. Damn near blew my shoulder out playing fucking Skyward Sword and shit. Hot. I'm too old for that shit now. I'm too old for that stuff. What else I got for you? Oh, Nintendo VR? Nah, we good off that. VR, Nintendo couldn't do VR because VR you need powerful hardware, and we know Nintendo ain't gonna do the most powerful hardware. They always try to find that balance between power and being cheap. The handheld era needs to come back. Yeah, that's why I'm hoping PlayStation is working on that PSP too. I hope that shit is real. I love the PSP, man. I fucking love the PSP. In other Nintendo news, not really Nintendo, it's GameStop. It's actually tone deaf news. So when the Switch came out a few weeks ago, one of the biggest gaming retailers, GameStop, was obviously handing out the pre-orders for those who bought it. People lined up, and unfortunately, some people who lined up to get their Switch 2, their screen got cracked because unfortunately, some dumbasses at GameStop, they stapled the receipt to the box, and I guess the box is super thin, and the staple went through the box and crushed people's screens. So reports were coming out on Reddit. People were showing pictures. It was a pretty big deal. It was unfortunate. It would seem that GameStop doesn't understand that people hate them because now they're giving away the stapler that broke people's Nintendo Switch. Now, granted, it is an auction for a children's hospital. So, I mean, I guess they're doing good with it. But at the same time, like, this shit's not fucking funny to me, dude. Like, you guys couldn't do anything else for the children's hospital. Who the fuck is gonna, I'm gonna bid $1,000 to get the stapler that ruined a nigga's console? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? And then you wonder why people hate you. Yeah, trolling. Like, you guys don't need to be trolling. Not the company that rips people off with their credit card that got a 50% APR. Poor 18-year-old kid coming in trying to get their first credit card. Your parents failed you if you get a fucking GameStop credit card, but poor 18-year-old kid coming in trying to get their first credit card, got a 65% APR on that bitch. And you bought it because some nigga at GameStop tricked you into saying, oh, you get 10% more PowerPoints towards your PowerPoints card so you can get used games and shit. Like, that's the fuck up. I hate y'all. And then last but not least, this has nothing to do with gaming, But you know, here on this stream, I'm the data and statistics guy, and some interesting data came out in regards to the fruit punch sipping, tang lip sipping ass, bad man Hawaiian t-shirt anime community that loves to play the same arena fighter who thinks you need a high IQ to play a dead game known as Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Now, for those who don't watch anime, unfortunately, they have their own console war, and that would be sub versus dubbed, which is better. Now, if you're a normal human being, you don't give a fuck how people enjoy the content. You're just happy somebody's a part of the culture and you get to conversate with them about it, right? But there is a subsection of the anime community who only watches subbed, meaning Japanese voices, and they read the subtitles. They say they like it more because the inflections in the voice acting is just superior to dub. If that's how you feel, cool. I don't care. I've always watched dub because I'm going to watch Japanese people watch anime in their native tongue. Therefore, I'm going to watch it. Also, I feel like the voice acting has gotten much better. I don't feel like that's very much of a valid argument. Sure, in the 90s, the dubs weren't good, but like I'd argue, have you watched a dub recently? It's fine to me. Netflix released some data, and in it, I read this article. In it, they surveyed their 300 million anime viewers, and they found that the majority of anime viewers are watching anime dubbed. 80 to 90% of viewers who watch anime is dubbed, not subbed. Meaning most people don't care. The internet is not a real place. So I just wanted to bring this data up to you guys to let you know, and 300 million is a large sample size. Next time a subbed anime viewer comes up to you and says you're not a real anime fan because you watch dubbed, just tell them, niggas, shut the fuck up. You don't shower, you don't brush your teeth. You're a fucking dweeb. Most people watch it dubbed. There's more of me than there are of you. And you keep talking like that, we gonna beat your subbed watching ass. How about that, nigga? You are a fucking dweeb and a loser if you police how people enjoy their cartoons. Some people work a 9 to 5 and they come home and they just want to relax and they want to watch some Naruto. They don't want to read fucking subtitles. They're not any less than you. And you know, the funny thing is, I seen after this article had came out, I seen a tweet that was going viral on my For You page of somebody who with an anime avatar was trying to make the argument, well, the only reason why there are more dubbed than subbed viewers is because the average American can't read or some shit like that. And I'm like, nigga, shut the fuck up, bro. This is based off of data. You're basing that off your feelings. Now we're moving the goalposts. I don't think that's the fucking reason, dude. Maybe some people, they're too slow. He was arguing they're too slow a reader so they can't keep up with the subtitles. I can read. I read on the stream all the fucking time. That shit don't apply to me. Why? So to that argument, I say, even if it is true, let's pretend like it is true. Even if it is true, why do you care? I thought the goal was to grow the community, grow the industry so we can continue to get more quality anime. Why are you policing how people watch cartoons? You said that's debatable. Even if it is debatable, why does it fucking matter? Oh, you don't read while you're... Okay, most of you niggas don't read comic books. Now what? I know you don't, because I see some of these horrible takes on Superman. You said his inner soul said they know. You're losing out on emotion when it comes to the original voice acting. So if they still enjoyed it, what does it matter? That's always been my issue. If they enjoyed it, what does it matter? It should not bother you. Who fucking cares, bruh? I don't care. If I tell you I don't care, guys, no means no, okay? Remember one time, this is like a long time ago, this nigga asked me to go to he asked me to go to Disney World with him. And I told that nigga, no, I don't want to go to fucking Disney World. What the fuck I'm going to Disney World for? I'm good off that. He said, oh, we got me saying no is not an invitation for you to fucking, to try to convince me. Now you trying to coerce me, nigga? That shit kind of weird, child. I ain't gonna lie, that shit kind of weird. Dubs are so much better now. They're done. I agree, they're done so much better, but I think the only thing that matters, especially when it comes to nerd culture, whether it's video games or anime, the only thing that should matter is that we're all consuming the content and supporting it where we can. Because obviously, you know, we're on a budget. You can't buy every manga. You can't buy every comic book. You can't buy every video game. But when you can, you should support something so that we get more of it. And then we don't make TikToks and IG Reels talking about there's no variety in games you don't buy. Because I brought up the chart and it said you bought Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Madden 2K, Roblox. Support what you love, support what you love, support what you love.